This is Dream Warriors, episode 34, Coffee and News with Pete. We got some movie news, good movie news. It's been a little bit busy between episodes, so there's things I want to jump into. So let's hit the music. Let's go. With a not French press, Italian Espresso today. Reanimator coffee. That's the brew I'm drinking. It's telemetry. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they are local. They're Philadelphia, and I get it ground espresso style. There's different types of different ways to grind coffee. So I thought this one was going to be a good call today because it's freaking early and slept really well last night, but I just needed to get up and get going and kind of light a fire today. So, as alluded to in the intro, there is movie news to get to, lots of good stuff, and then there's me, my favorite subject, and crap, dude, a busy day today. Guy watched the FA Cup final. Chelsea is playing. They are my favorite, but it's Chelsea and Arsenal for the FA Cup final. So that's like at 2:12. And that's gonna put me right, downtown in Center City. Not looking forward to the alcohol and the appetizers and eating. It's always fun to hang out with the guys and do that sort of thing. I love it. There's nothing close to watching sports with men. It is a man. I think that's something I missed out on. That I kind of discovered when I kind of first started to come into the city, maybe 8 years ago, and I never really had people over to watch sports. I was never really in a position, but it is dude, it is fun. It's a level of love and camaraderie and togetherness that only watching millionaires kick around a ball into a giant net for sometimes 4 hours can unlock. I don't know if I'm going to be there for the entire game because I would like to work out today. It looks like I'm doing work from home until then, including this. Gearing up a new YouTube program or show or playlist, because that's just the way I look at it. And it's going to be film commentaries. And the name I'm battling with for this whole sub series is Film Savage, because I think we break convention, and I don't know. I think part of the Dream Warriors conversation also is we're kind of savage on our take. I know me. I know some of my counterparts are. They offer a good balance to me, but I know I'm unconventional, and by savage I don't mean we just attack movies and rip them apart just to do it. I think that's what people do in general when it comes to modern reviewers. They don't offer any love for the insight and the nuance, which is really weird. Considering the level of work, craftsmanship, and expertise that goes into any production. I mean, this coffee's already kicking in. But yeah, so I'm not looking forward to the FA Cup kickoff food and alcohol. I wanted to kind of lay low today. because I'm also gearing up for Bad Eats episode. Oh no, not we're not doing a numerical episode. This is our first or second intended. The first time we intended to do like a mini-sode turned into, I think, episode 6, which was the rib sandwich. Because that footage was just like endless, so it became an episode. This one we're doing like a targeted Wonder Woman theme, and the sub name for that is Bad Eats Selling Out, and I just think it's hilarious. I think it fits with like what we're doing, because we're selling out. Wonder Woman selling out. We're going to be talking about Chef Boyardee and Dr. Pepper. That's selling out. And like already we're about 5 minutes in, and I don't think I talked about anything that you won't have to Google on your own, unless you're a huge soccer fan. But anyway, so maybe I should get off of that. But so it's kind of like a busy day. I wanted to definitely, John, my one buddy, he should be recording here tomorrow, Sunday, and we got put our heads together. We have so many ideas for show types. I would like us to sit down and go savage on DC film universe, the DCEU, whatever the heck it's called. Even though Wonder Woman, fingers, not really fingers crossed, but Wonder Woman's getting good reviews. It's got good momentum. Now it's the Dream Warriors position is that that movie has no real hype because it's a character that no one really is drawn to. But you want things to be a success, you want things to continue. Obviously, the DCEU's continuing with or without Wonder Woman's success. I mean, we're still getting Justice League. We're still getting 4 Batman movies. So I don't know. With or without Wonder Woman, the DC movies are going to march on. So he's coming over for that tomorrow. We might talk about Mr. Show with Bob and Dave. Now that is Googleable, and that is something to discover. You can watch every episode they did. You can actually watch everything between streaming. The 4 seasons of that show are on Amazon Prime through the HBO side. The HBO free side, not HBO subscription, and you can get With Bob and David, which is the reunion, extension, continuation of that show that Netflix put together. And holy crap, those guys didn't miss a beat. The final episode for that series, for Bob and David, goes into detail about their process, and holy crap, it's as enlightening as there was like a South Park documentary where Trey and Matt Stone that goes into the creation of one episode, and like there are so many things from that I still repeat today, that I preach, that I took away on what their process is. And there's things within that Bob and David final episode. Check it out if you are amongst if you think of yourself as creative and you want friends. And not meaning that I wouldn't be your friend. I definitely would. But I mean friends as in there's people out there, and just because they're making money, there are some of the few, like the few lucky people to break through the ice. The world just needs more creative people, and people are, I think in general, highly creative. Because I see so much. I got my hair cut yesterday for maybe the first time since September. But, I let it grow out, and it was kind of like a hit and kind of like a miss, and I liked it. But, like when I go to hair salons, it's just so much creativity. And I go to Architect. It's about 15 minutes from where I live, and Architect is spelled it's almost like I spelled it because I can't spell. But they butchered the spelling because there's 2 of them, but it's a great salon. Straight up salon, like stylists work there. And you know this because it has some of the most beautiful women you've ever seen coming in and out of that place and working there. The difference between like a hair cuttery and those chop shops and and the real salon is straight up beauty. These places have beautiful women, and they are formed women. They're not like party girls, girls of the night, or whatever. They're not these girls in micro mini dresses with giant heels stumbling out of Ubers just to hopefully get in without paying. The women that occupy these places are far from that. Not saying that some of them don't go there, they do, but it's a true salon. I go there religiously. They love me there. I love them. They have alcohol, which is great. So I had some of that. I had some Knob Creek. They had Knob Creek rye there, and I drank probably like a good shot of it straight up through the course of my haircut. So I forget exactly why we were talking about that, but yeah. So let's just get into a little bit of some of this movie news, and also too, the NBA finals are coming up. I had a couple tabs open in Google Chrome just to help me, and I have a phone call coming in. Let me just take. Yeah, so 24/7 is hold up, I got to pour a little bit more espresso here. Yeah, and by the way, we're doing like probably about 4 cups of espresso out of this Italian espresso maker. With a coffee called Reanimator. And holy crap, man, I feel more awake right now. So that was John, tomorrow's first time special guest, longtime friend, calling to discuss Dream Warriors episode 35, which will be tomorrow. And I just kind of repeated the entire episode of 34 to him, so he can probably skip to the 11-minute mark and get to things that he might want to listen to. So and John and I were discussing essentially we were just discussing what to discuss, and it kind of lost a little bit of the train of thought there. So the DC movies, Wonder Woman is always a big subject with him and I. I don't know if we're going to talk about that, but it's interesting also, and it's really bad. What happened recently with Zack Snyder, because I really believe that he was a good voice for the DC film universe. Like I was all for the contrast that he was creating. Hey, look, I don't really care. I back it up. I think Man of Steel is legit. I think it's country. It's Americana. It is I think a force to be reckoned with when it comes to origin movies. I think the things that people attach themselves to of what they do not like. And I went through a similar purging, and I call it purging, with Prometheus, where I went in to watch Prometheus again for the first time in a long time, and just kind of was like, let's just forget this weird thing that people have with scientists and those 2 guys getting attacked with the black goo worm, the mutated black goo worm, and let's just watch this effing movie. And I don't know. Look, I don't know how scientists act in the field. I don't know what like I don't know. Like, would they go up and try and get face to face with something? Like, are they these scientists were kind of piratey to some extent? Within, like, we're talking about in the context of that scene. So one's out for money, and I'm not going through character names, but that's an interesting scene, and it's an interesting scene to hold the rest of the movie on. People also have an issue with what's her name? The girl, one of the girls, Charlize Theron, how she gets crushed. They see it. So you kind of have like 2 scenes where people are just really, really like hung up on it. It's like all right, the best movies even have scenes that just don't logically fit. But if these 2 scientists are out for money, they're stuck. They don't know where they're going, so they're maybe a little bit like rattled. like, is that like a recipe to make a bad decision? Yes, and that's kind of to me how it read. That's how it read. I really enjoyed Prometheus, with a gap. So, um, and that's almost like kind of like becoming a little bit of my credo, just like with my overall like approach and how we're looking at movies and thinking about them and rating them and discussing them, because otherwise it's just hurtful, disgusting, and harmful. And people just seem to be hung up with Zack Snyder and the Man of Steel and that fight at the end. And the first time I watched that, I was like, oh my god, finally, they're doing this type of like action. And I don't know, it's all in the context of stopping Zod. And if like Clark Kent or whatever the heck you're calling him doesn't go to the extreme he does when fighting Zod, those world machines would have destroyed like everything. Uh, and also that creates a problem with Batman vs Superman, because I feel like we needed like another speech from Ben Affleck. Even though the speeches he delivers are solid on his criticisms for the Man of Steel. They're solid. I just think we needed a little bit more. We need a little bit of that face to face, like boxing match style or MMA weigh-in style. Which is something that changed, because at one time all the big weigh-ins were boxing matches, and now all the big weigh-ins are MMA. But I guess they antagonize these the athletes to get physical during the weigh-in. So I guess, I don't know. It's the rise of MMA, and I don't care. I love the sport. So Zack Snyder is stepping down, and as far as I understand, it was a suicide of his daughter that caused everything. And it's really funny because there was like a run of blog posts, articles, and YouTube videos, and no one addressed that. So we've had Chris Cornell commit suicide. We've had the daughter of Zack Snyder, and I don't know how old she was, so I don't even feel comfortable addressing her by name. But in my opinion, like two major suicides, and I think any major. I just had a relative recently commit suicide. So what is it really? It's no one discussed suicide, and I just felt that was a cop out, that was fake and disingenuous. I've also had two close friends that I grew up with, not close friends, close at one time perhaps, but life goes on and you drift apart, commit suicide also. I've had friends that ex-girlfriend too, kind of like on suicide watch. And you're like, oh my god, Pete, like, no, the girl's story. No, this one legitimately was in a mental institution, and man, like bent over backwards for that time for her too, and never ever got like a thank you. Am I begrudged about that? Yes, because I feel like it's bad form. Look, if you're going to follow something from the movie Hook with Steven Spielberg and Dustin Hoffman playing Captain Hook, probably the best film Captain Hook we've ever seen. It's good form, Peter. Good form. That's a really bad impression. But we're still early, so form in life, man. You need good form. Just that, if you're gonna have one takeaway from that movie, it is follow Captain Hook's advice. Have procedure, have procurement in your own life. But anyway, so I just thought it was bad form. Didn't seem real, and I wanted to kind of prepare a little bit more for this episode, and I did want to discuss suicide because it's I think it affects us a little bit more when people who you feel are privileged or have everything to do it, because if they're doing it, wow, like what the hell what are our chances and odds? But statistically, you will find that more privileged people or people of a certain status will commit suicide versus the people who quote unquote struggle. There's like socioeconomic reasons, surface level stuff that you can all extrapolate to the causes and why that is, because believe it or not, the struggle grounds you. It keeps you going. Like the dog has some fight in it, and it's okay to be that dog sometimes. I remember back when I worked at Hall of Heroes in the Echelon Mall in South Jersey. I don't want to say worked. I ran that store, made a lot of money with that store. The owner was very good to me up until the end. But then again, I know at the time the business was unraveling, like bad. So I think I got out at the right time, and we invested into each other too at separate times. And there was this one guy, Mike, kind of reminded me of a cave troll, and I think I lost his number. It might be in an old exported Outlook file, DLR format, if I remember. I'm probably wrong there, and I would have to I think Google Contacts can decode, can decrypt that or encode it and import it, possibly. But anyway, I'm pretty sure his number is in that old exported contact list from maybe 2004, 2005. But he would come into the store later at night, and he loved Lord of the Rings, he loved fantasy, but he was a original art collector, made a ton of money at one point, and kind of fell into a weird bad marriage, and he would come in and almost pour his heart out to me, and we became friends because I give everyone a chance in life, multiple chances sometimes, unless we're dating, because I don't have time for that DAT, and it's kind of like one shot. Unless I like you, then you might get 2, maybe 3. Which kind of in the current run backfires. 3 dates is like the kiss of death for me. I don't know. I think sex creates a bond, so let's just bond early and move on from there. I don't know. I'm a great one night stand because I always want to hang out. I always want to do something with people. But so this one guy used to come around, and I ended up at his place a couple times, and he had a original art collection of Frank Franzetti, Boris Vallejo, Julie Bell, and endless others. And he actually commissioned me to do a couple pieces that I felt like I completely did a hack job on. And I don't know, I can't believe he paid for pieces for me. I was no place to do quality work at the time. But that's kind of how I always learned. Have people pay you to learn how to do things. I think the podcast and the YouTube work are the 2 things that I wasn't being paid to figure out. But anyway, so Mike was this caveman guy that used to come by Hall of Heroes. He was very suicidal too. He would tell me stories of sitting with the shotgun in his mouth and running a way out. And he's someone, in my eyes, even from a geek spectrum, amazingly privileged. And you kind of have the world. You're a certain level of geek god when you own a original Frank Franzetti. Now you are on Mount Olympus when you own multiple Franzettis and multiple Boris like Vallejo, who kind of gets overlooked right now. For me, growing up, it was always Boris versus Frank, and then everything became Frank again, and people forget Boris. That's a little odd. So suicide's kind of been something that recently through the Philly office work a couple years ago, had an office friend, a guy that became a friend outside the office. He got on suicide watch. He had a complete meltdown in life, and I kind of social media stalk him to make sure he's doing all right, even though we're not friends, we're not in talking terms. I think I somewhat have him blocked on all media outlets, but and just sometimes people end up in bad places, and they want to validate how well they feel. So they kind of do what's called cycling. Like they want to transfer how they feel onto you to validate their existence, to validate how they are, what they feel. And I do get it. I understand it. I relate to it. I think I've done it before. Sometimes I might do it now. I try and cap it. But yeah, so Chris Cornell, Zack Snyder's daughter. Now, the suicide of Zack Snyder's daughter had the windfall of bringing in Josh Whedon to finish the Justice League movie, and I guess to take over the direction that Zack Snyder established, which is good and bad. I don't know. I kind of lost a lot of faith in Josh Whedon, mostly because his political tweets are completely insane. Same as Eric Larson, the creator, writer, artist, inker of the Savage Dragon, which might be the second or third longest running Image Comics core title to have consecutive issues. It might be second to Witchblade and or second only to Spawn. But it sucks because Larson's tweets really, like, I'm like, I get it, man. Like, freedom of speech, you have a platform, but when things are belligerent, misinformed, and preachy, I just feel like that's not your job. I feel like he can do it. Like, you can do that, but like, have something to back it up. Like, produce something, create content. Just create, and just because you're not a millionaire doesn't mean you should not create. Because chasing the millionaire, like, gold medal, so to speak, forces people not to create. Okay, and that's the point I was getting at earlier. But yeah, so I just want, if you go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP.com. Okay, now one of these a-holes talked about this. They've used this as clickbait on YouTube and through the subject matter of some of their other podcasts, and that's what I mean about disgusting. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP. Just say it with me. Know it. Talk about it. Be vocal. Just off of their homepage, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S. That's extraordinary that it's even in the top 10. Each year, 44,193 Americans died by suicide. For every suicide, 25 attempts. Suicide costs the U.S. $51 billion annually. Okay, which is like, what's the math for that? How does roughly 44K people translate to 51 billion annually? Not million, billion. Oh my God, I love government spending. That is such a discrepancy. Where does that money go? Holy shit. It can't go in prevention. Jeez. The annual age-adjusted suicide rate is 13.26 per 100,000 individuals. So every 100K people, 13 people commit suicide. On average, 121 suicides per day. Firearms account for almost 50% of all suicides. Interesting, right there. Not that that does not say anything for or against the Second Amendment. Okay, we're not making a Second Amendment bit here. Men die by suicide 3.5 more often than women. White males account for 7 out of 10 suicides in 2015. Now, that is a very interesting data point because this is something we do not see. And they are legitimate, believe it or not, philosophical ideas to why that, real ideas, okay? To why that, I feel like why that is a probably the most powerful statistic that we're reading here. I would, John and I, we just talked about, like, should we jumpstart like a political podcast or like a news driven one? 100% yes. Are there things to figure out about that? 100% yes. Would this be one of the highlights of an episode to drill down into? 100% yes. The rate of suicide is highest in middle-aged white men in particular. This is deep here. Okay, so so this is what I mean about what you would consider people of privilege committing suicide. And there's also a weight on their shoulders that's unlike people who are not privileged, because it's having people care for you, nanny state, versus making it on your own, and that is, I think that's the real barrier. But it's a horrible thing. Chris Cornell, I consider to have created probably. Oh, give me 1 second here. Let's just stop this. Oh my god, all kinds of morning issues. Sorry, that one was Dallas poking his fuzzy little face around here, and he is already in 5 minutes from being shooed away, storming my bed and then sleeping on it. That literally was like a 5 minute, and I think it was coming by just to say hello. So I guess if you can't say hello to Peter, you go right to bed. You go right to his bed, and he's been on this run of sleeping in the middle of the bed. Not that I sleep in the bed often, hardly ever. This week I have, just because I've really been beat up from the gym, and I wanted extra time to stretch out and recover, and I've been allowing my body to do that. So it's almost like every other week now, which also increases my feeding and I call it when I eat feeding. Feeding. Yeah, so it's just like, it's like almost like nonstop. And I love it. I love working out, like working all day, coming home, doing some cleaning, doing some things. Like, and by doing things, I mean stuff for the eBay store, drawing, illustration, websites for clients, business cards for clients, logos for clients, some of my IT work, developing one or two other like businesses. Yes, we do that here. The YouTube stuff, okay, I love running right into that wall, having so much ahead of you. You're stressed, but you keep doing it, you keep performing, round it out, get better. Okay, driving it. This is hashtag nonstop. This is why I'm always posting this. Okay, you do that you become that. Okay, and there's nothing more satisfying than having that be your day, and just crashing the f out, and waking up like right now, like at a decent time, and you kind of keep going. Like, holy crap, man! Like, I don't know what other people do. Like I said, you don't need a Nobel Peace Prize. You don't need a Harry Potter book to be creative. Creativity should run through your veins. It should be a part of your everyday existence. And if it's not, I'm sorry, but you're afraid. You're just more geek talk, right? That's why we're here. Pirates of the Caribbean is coming out, and like, let's just do. We may have done this, right? Let's just do Pirates of the Caribbean box office. All right, let's just, like, it's a $1 billion franchise. I know that. All right. So adjusted ticket price inflation number one. Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest came out in 2006. Adjusted gross $571. Number two, Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. I'm sorry, that's number one. Dead Man's Chest is number two. So number two, $571. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl, $447. That came out in 2003. So 3 years later. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean: At World's End, which is the third. So, this is the ending of a trilogy here. They made a far substantial trilogy off of a successful first entry than I feel like what happened with The Matrix. Because there's an escalation to the pirate movies. The escalation it seems underwhelming, and there's a lot. There's a lot to take in, like exhausting when it comes to the Matrix movies. Now, that doesn't say I don't enjoy them. I actually love both trilogies. I'm all for the Matrix as a trilogy because I like the mythology it expands on, and yeah, not making concessions. If we accept that there's unperfect movies that exist in this world, we can all enjoy it. Okay, Pirates of the Caribbean, Orange Stranger Tides, 2011, 264. So we have 570, 447, 400 roughly, and 260. Combined, I think $1.6 billion average gross. Okay, of a Pirate of the Caribbean movie, average is $420 million. Phenomenal. Unadjusted gross though, average is 319. Like, we're talking serious money here. Okay, the director of Pirates 4 on Stranger Tides, which I've only saw once in the theater. I really have to watch again because I kind of forget that. It has that Ian McShane guy in it as Blackbeard, and Penelope Cruz or Cruz, Mrs. Tom Cruise, I think plays Blackbeard's daughter. But I forget so much about this movie. I don't know. I really have to watch it again. But I'm curious on who directed this movie, because let's just do a quick search here, and let's just go to the wiki. We do wiki. It had a nice artwork for advertising campaign. It was like a green to, like all the other pirate movies like use blues and golds, and this one had like a green teal tint with gold or yellow. Bob Marshall. Wow. Okay, so we have Bob Marshall, who filmography. All right. Chicago, Memoirs of a Geisha, 9. 9, hugely underrated musical. I'm sorry, love 9. Pirates of the Caribbean, Orange Stranger Tides, Into the Woods. Oh, I could not finish watching Into the Woods, and he is now making Mary Poppins Returns. Now, how brilliant is that? You have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, with one of the takeaway lines from that is Yondu's, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all," which was a designed line. That was a designed moment. They thought about that through pre-production to execution. They put that in there for it to go viral, 100%. And that movie's already marketed, and that is a 2018 release date. So we're like 2 years away from that. But I don't care. Guardians will still be circulating by that point. Memoirs of Geisha, yeah, sure. Like, Chicago. Again, Bobby, me being a Bobby Fosse fanboy, Google that name, look that name up. If you don't know it, know it. Yeah, I'm signed on for Chicago. 9, jeez. Yeah, I remember seeing 9, and I will tell you one thing: great night seeing that movie. What's his name? I got to click on Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie. I love his character, and you know what it is? It's based on a now forgotten Italian movie, but who cares? You can see the American version of 9. Just full of like sexy women. This guy's some of a womanizer, like all these things. And I will tell you one thing: I remember that night, and holy crap, that was that was kind of like one of those hot sex nights too. And I still talking to that girl. 2009. Yeah, wow. Her and I have a history. Maybe I should get her on. But yeah, so what can you say? Bob Marshall coming in to direct. Now the directors of this current pirate movie, geez, I don't know, man. No pedigree there. I went through their stuff. I'm forgetting their names, which is rude, right? I should know their names. Let's just see here. Let's just see. See, this is why you print stuff out sometimes. But sometimes you just have to record. All right, let's see here. Dead Men Tell No Tales, directed by I came Joachim Roning, Espen Sandberg, and these guys have not really. There's no real pedigree here. They did Marco Polo episodes, Kon Tiki, which is like got nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, and I don't know. That doesn't really give me much confidence, man. The pirate movies should be a little bit like the Alien franchise, where like you get powerhouses to direct those movies. Who wouldn't want to play in that world? Are they trying to do like Marvel, digging up people and throwing them into the Marvel extended film, Marvel Cinematic Universe? Or just throwing these guys in there like the Russo brothers and then having these guys like flourish? Okay, maybe. But Kon Tiki, there's nothing about that makes me like. If I catch myself watching, if it comes up available, sure. Am I going to seek it out? Probably not, because you know what? I'd rather watch Babylon AD with Vin Diesel, which I watched yesterday for like the second time, because the first time I think I fell asleep, so I watched it all the way through. I don't know why people really knocked the hell out of that movie. That's another movie that gives you like a Blade Runner universe, like kind of Blade Runner looking universe. Ghost in the Shell, the Judge Dredd movie, a little bit of Fifth Element too. Like people love buildings that are LED showing Coca-Cola bottles, because that's what consumerism is going to be in the future. I just like it how like these somewhat post like dystopian futures have a lot of advertisements. So people still have money to spend, but they it's dystopian, even though there's plenty of money to be spent for consumer goods. And also the Total Recall remake also, or update, had some of that too, which I that's another one I should finish watching, because that had some amazing production design. Like the look of that movie, holy crap, dude. And I just love futuristic movies. I remember like the guards in that looking really cool, and some of the tech looking cool. But look, that's, you go into movies like that's what to expect. So Pirates is out, getting choppy reviews. It's pushing a projection of 285, which is phenomenal. I want it to happen. I don't know. People are knocking Jack Sparrow's performance of being formulaic and non-inspired, quote unquote, or like he's going through the motions, or he's phoning it in. Like, these people have any idea if that's what was happening. like they were on set. Like, they have an actual clue. They do not. I think expecting things from Jack Sparrow at this point is to be expected. I think expecting surprise from Jack Sparrow is you are fooling yourself, because we've seen the character so much already. We want Jack Sparrow to be Jack Sparrow. We want Austin Powers to be such. James Bond, Indiana Jones. These criticisms for Jack Sparrow you cannot apply them to other film characters that we accept as is, with little backstory or evolution or arc. So all of a sudden it's bad for Jack Sparrow, but it's good for these other it's good for Bruce Wayne, like, who's almost the same in every single Batman movie, even Christian Bale. And so, like, what do we have here? Like, why is one acceptable and one not? It's because of what I was referring to earlier. There's a fever. There's like this momentum that people want to jump on for clickbait, and they all want to say the same things, and it's like circulated talking points. Kind of scary. Like Chris Stuckman's been returning to center with some of his stuff, and I respect him a little bit for that. He sometimes he comes off as a shell, sometimes he doesn't, but I love it. Like he's been kind of dead on with some things. I think his counterpart, like John Flickinger on YouTube, is strictly like talking points or just surface level stuff, even though he pinpoints and says relevant things, but it's like what they're saying in all. I feel like it's disruptive. It hurts. So I don't know. Pirates just looks like it has amazing special effects. I love the scores, like, or the beats, like, like the pirate theme, amazing. One of the best movie themes ever. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Mark, Business Mark, as I call him, was alluding to Alien Covenant being like very disappointing. He saw it. That movie seems like it kind of has like issues, but it's to be expected because they're trying to really intersect it, make it connect and link to Alien. And Red Letter Media today nailed it when now the alien is no longer an alien because it's not an alien. Which, if that makes any sense, they took away the alien part of Alien by going through the origin. Unintended consequence, right? Like, who the hell would see that coming? But no, all in all, yeah, I would like to see Ghost in the Shell. I would like to see Alien, and I definitely want to see Pirates. But I believe the next movie would be next weekend. It's going to be Wonder Woman. That's what we're marching towards. If I could maybe like in the next day or so. It's Memorial Day weekend. Thank God I don't have any plans. When I had a girlfriend, it was so exhausting this time. Exhausting. And holy shit, look what I'm doing. I'm just sitting down here creating with you, with the audience. And maybe you, the one hot girl that's listening, that's going to text me later, asking me questions of all the girl references that I make on here. Odd questions. Maybe even have some of them in your phone. Just don't do that. Memorize your questions. Don't read them off your phone to me. If we're on a date or an excursion, not really dates. I don't consider myself. I don't think I even go on dates anymore. Just don't do that. But no. Look, I got a big day ahead of me. I think we covered some good ground. I'm trying to get Norm back in here. Norm and I were like, I'm trying to get him things to talk about so he's a little bit more effective. I don't know what's happening with him. I really don't know. It's a little bit scary because I think he's getting a little gun shy. But hey, the hell with ego. If you release yourself of the ego, if you let your ego go, amazing things will happen. No ego. Be creative. Okay. Love failure. Trust the process. Okay. We all have it in us. We all already do it. I think mothers do it. That's why they're amazing creators and micromanagers. More women nowadays don't want to be a mother, which is a little bit scary. I think they should always push for that. But anyway, no. Signing off now. It's Saturday. I got things to do. I gotta feel the burn in the gym. Oh no, duck around drinking alcohol and eating disgusting food. Not that the food really matters. I've been eating horrible food all week, but I need the calories. Especially playing soccer. I might be playing soccer tomorrow too, which is going to be good. Clash. I like bruises. I got bruises already from my last match. That was maybe 2 weeks ago, and I still have them. But anyway, signing off. Everyone, have a good day. All right. Don't forget Twitter, AKAPAD. Instagram, AKAPAD13. Snapchat, AKAPAD. Facebook, Peter A. DeLuca. Or you can probably find me through AKAPAD on Facebook. There's a personal and the business. Just like the business, there's really nothing that happens on the personal. The personal just exists for me to communicate with girls I might want to get some attention from. Okay. And what am I missing here? YouTube. You can find me AKAPAD on YouTube. Bad Eats on YouTube. What else is coming up? Look, we're going to do like a Patreon. We're going to maybe do some crowdfunding later. This whole apparatus. We're launching more YouTube shows like daily almost. We're working on them daily. There should be 2 different types of shows launching in the next week or so. The movie commentary one, which is going to be a complete failure when it launches, but there were technical issues that we had a year ago. That's how long some of this stuff's been cooking. That's going to get worked on and released and get better. So stick with us through all of it, okay? It's a wonderful journey. I want you on that magic carpet ride with me. You are Jasmine and I'm Aladdin, and it's a whole new world. So, have a good weekend, people. Oh, there you go. Strike typing up.